This topic is an introduction to combining like terms. And since it's an introduction, I'm only going to deal with addition in this lesson, so there won't be any subtraction or distribution in this. So I have another video that has combining like terms with addition and subtraction, and then I'll have another one that includes distribution too. So if you're looking for those, then check out my channel and you can find a video on that. So just some terminology real quick here. This first expression I have is 2x plus 3x. The x, the letter here, is called a variable. In algebra, a variable is a letter that represents a number. The number that's attached to that variable or in front of it is called the coefficient. So the number in front of the variable is called a coefficient. The variable, the letter, is called a variable. If there is no number in front of the variable, then the coefficient is 1, and we don't write the 1. So if you look at the second example, you've got 2y plus y. That's the same thing as 2y plus 1y. All right, so you might be wondering, why is there an apple and a pineapple on the screen? Good question. So when I teach this, I like to talk about apples and pineapples. You can combine apples together. So if I go to the store and buy 2 apples, and then I buy 3 more apples, I have a total of 5 apples. But you cannot combine together an apple and a pineapple. So if I have 2 apples and 3 pineapples, I can't say I have 5 Apanels, or I don't know what you would call that. You can't combine them together. You would just say I have 2 apples and I have 3 pineapples. Okay, so when I talk about combining like terms, they have to be the same fruit. They either have to be apples or pineapples. And of course, you could have other variables too. For these examples, I'm just using 2 variables, an x and a y. So I'm calling the x's apples and I'm calling the y's pineapples. So if we look at this first example, 2x plus 3x, these are both apples. So we can combine these together. They have what we call the same variable factor. So 2x plus 3x, again, that's like I'm buying 2 apples and then I buy 3 more apples. That means I have 5 apples. So this is what combining like terms means. Taking things that are the same and simplifying them by combining them together. So here's an example with pineapples. So I have 2 pineapples plus another pineapple. Remember, the coefficient on this y is 1. We don't need to write it, because it's the same thing as saying I have a pineapple versus saying I have 1 pineapple. Kind of means the same thing. So 2y plus 1y can be simplified to 3y. The third example here, I've got 2 apples and I have 3 pineapples. You can't combine these. You can't simplify this anymore. So if I asked you what's the simplified form of this, you would say 2x plus 3y. It can't be simplified any further than that. And then the last example here, there's no variables, there's just numbers, and you've been combining numbers your whole life. You just never heard them called like terms. So of course you can combine 2 and 3 together to get 5. Now, when you have multiple variables in the same expression, so let's say we have x and y in the same expression, which I'm about to show you an example, your answer should have the variables in alphabetical order. So you would combine your x's first, then your y's, and then last would be any numbers that you have. So the variables in alphabetical order, they come first, and then any numbers. If that sounds confusing, well, let's see what I mean by that. Let's look at an example of this. All right, so in this expression, I have numbers, I have a variable x, and I have a variable y. Again, you could have any number of variables. In this example, I only have 2, x and y. You could have x, y, z, a, b, c. But again, the key is you can only combine the ones together that are the same. So let's rewrite this. Let's put the x's first because they come first in the alphabet. So I'm going to rewrite this as 3x plus 9x. And then let's put the y's. So I have plus y plus 8y plus 9 plus 2. So I started off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms here. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms here. All I did was just change the order. So again, I put the variables first, and I put them alphabetically, X's and then Y's, and then I put the numbers last. So now let's combine together the like terms. So these are both apples or X's. So we're going to combine those together. So 3x plus 9x is 12x. We have Y's, or pineapples. We're going to combine those together. Remember, the coefficient on this y is 1. So this is really 1y plus 8y. So that's 9y. And then I'm going to combine the 9 and the 2 together. So I get plus 11. And so that's the simplified version of this expression. That's an ugly, terrible box, but oh well. So this, my answer here, is the same as this. This in the box is just a simplified version of that. So in math, we always like to write things in the simplest way that we can. And obviously what's in the box is simpler than what we started with. And again, all I did was combine the like terms together. You can see how if there was subtraction in here, that might make this a little more complicated. So that's why I'm saving that for a different lesson. All right, so let's look at one more example here. All right, again, I'm just using X's and Y's because, again, this is an introduction. I want to kind of keep things simple here. So we have X's and we have Y's and we have numbers. So again, let's start with the variables and put them in alphabetical order. So I'm going to put the X's first. So I have X plus 6X plus 8X. And then the Y's, and actually I only have one Y. I have this 4Y, and that's it. And then any numbers, so plus 8, plus 3. All right, so here I have, again, there's a coefficient of 1 here that's not written. So I have 1x plus 6x plus 8x. So I'm just going to add 1 plus 6 plus 8. So 1 plus 6 is 7 plus 8 is 15. So that gives me 15x. The y's, there's only one of them. So I can't simplify that any further. It's as simple as it gets. And then the numbers, I have 8 plus 3. So that's 11. All right, so that's it. Apples and pineapples. I hope you found this useful. If so, give it a like and a subscribe. And until next time.